Hi everyone. In this episode what we're going to look at is actually how to physically mark an exam that's been set by yourselves and has now been completed by the students. What I'm likely to do is probably do a different series of videos from a student's perspective so that you can give these to your students or you can watch them yourselves in actually how to answer the questions and open the exams on ExamSimulator. But for today, we're just going to look at how to mark them. So what I've done is I've already made and set a couple of dummy students a practice exam, and I've just written some answers. And we're going to have a look at how to mark them. Now, because the exam has finished and the students have completed the exam already, it has gone into your past exam section. And it's in the not marked area because obviously we haven't marked it yet. It appears here, so it's the video series demo 1. This is the exam I've just set and completed. So let's have a go and see how we get on with marking it. So if you click on the exam, I've only set this to 2 students. The class was a lot bigger, but obviously for the purpose of this video, I only wanted to go through a couple of students. So let's start with Barney. The exam is only 3 questions long. Each of them are 4 marks. And what I've done is basically kind of written some answers with different levels of accuracy, and then we'll go through the marking process together. It's not really about the quality of the answers for this video, it's more about the actual marking process. So the question itself was, explain how the skeleton provides both movement and protection during judo. And Barney's answer is, muscles attach to the skeleton via tendons and cause movements. The rib cage also helps to protect the vital organs. Now, basically, if we look at the first sentence, the software hasn't really picked anything up, but what we can do is have a look at the marking points and think, do we actually want to justify this and mark it correct? Now, here it says about marking point 1, where muscles pull bones when they contract. And so I actually think muscles attached to skeleton via tendons and cause movement is sufficient for that mark. So with using my discretion as a teacher, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to highlight the entire sentence here. And I'm going to assign it now to point 1. So what I want to do, once you've highlighted it, you'll see this little pop-up come up. What I want to do now is I want to click the green tick, and then it will allow me to assign it to one of these 4 points. And I want to assign it to point 1. Now, what you'll notice here is with Barney's answers, he hasn't actually kind of linked this at all to judo. So you'll notice that there's nothing really related to the actual sporting example. This point 4, so it's picked up rib because obviously it's part of this marking point, but actually I don't think that's not justifiable. So what I can do is I can actually hover over this and just click the X, and what that does is it just deletes the mark because I don't think that's sufficient for that mark. However, you can obviously see here, skeleton protects vital organs, and that's what I've got here. So, helps to protect the vital organs. What I want to do actually here is I actually want to expand that out because I want the mark to capture that whole little bit rather than just the vital organs bit. So, if I click on the highlighted bit, and now I just click the plus button at the left-hand side, what it does is it adds to the answer that you want to highlight. So, I actually want to highlight the whole of protect the vital organs. And when I'm happy with that, I'm just going to click the tick button and it automatically is assigned to point 3. So I'm happy here that Barney has got 2 out of 4 for that question. Now let's have a look at Homer's answer. So Homer's answer, it says muscles which attach via tendons pull the bones to provide movement. This will cause leverage when performing a throw. So I'm happy here that causes leverage is sufficient to assign to point 1. So what I'm actually going to do again, I'm just going to expand this to include all of that and click tick. I'm happy with point 1. And actually performing a throw links to point 2. Now it picks it up as point 4 because we've got the word throw in that one as well. So what I want to do is I'm just going to actually click the cross there and I'm just going to highlight when performing a throw and assign that to point 2 because point 2 is the application to judo. So point 1 is what the skeleton does, point 2 is now applying it to judo as an example. This skeleton also protects vital organs, happy with that, which could protect the brain when landing on the mat. Again, cranium protects the brain during a landing on the mat. So I'm actually going to, again, just click on that one and just expand it out a little bit. Could protect the brain when landing on the mat, happy with that. So I'm going to tick that one, I'm going to tick that one, and there's 4 out of 4 for Homer. So I'm happy with that answer, nice and straightforward. Okay, let's go to question 2. Let's start with Homer. So if you click on this side panel here, you just see the question here. You can either click on the down arrow or click on question 2 itself. So you have the choice to mark by question or by student, basically. Okay, so the question here is justify the importance of reaction time and flexibility for a goalkeeper in football. So reaction time is vital to a goalkeeper so he can quickly react to a point-blank shot. So if I look at this, marking point 1, reaction time required to respond quickly to a shot. That's very similar. I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight the bit that I think is most important. So all of that, vital to a goalkeeper so he can quickly react to a point-blank shot. Tick that, assign it to point 1. This will allow them to prevent a goal being scored. So actually it's picked it up as 0.4, but I actually want it as 0.2 because it prevents them from scoring a goal, and that's linked to the reaction time. So I'm just going to click that as a cross. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Oh, it's gone a bit weird. I'm going to... Excuse me for a second. I'm going to highlight that. Don't know what happened there, but there we go. I'll pass that on. This will allow to prevent a goal being scored. So I'm happy with that. Going to assign that to 0.2. Flexibility will allow the keeper to spread their arms wide. Again, if I read through 0.3, flexibility is important as a range of movement. The shoulder helps to reach the ball. Helps to reach the ball. Yeah, so that's fine for me. I'm going to highlight all of that bit and tick it and assign it to 0.3. And make a save if a shot is heading to the corner. So increased range will stop the ball. Yep, tip the ball over, tip the ball around the post. So there is that clear application to the question, to the example. So I'm happy with that, 0.4. So quite often the software will pick quite a lot up. However, sometimes it won't, or it will misassign something. It's always learning. So you will have to perhaps, intervene as a teacher and just adjust it slightly. Question 3, in fact, let's go back to question 2 and let's mark Barney's question. So his previous students is the first one. So reaction time is important to a goalkeeper if a header comes from close range. So I'm happy with that in the sense that it's very similar to point 1 in terms of close shot, quickly to a shot, etc. So I'm going to highlight all of that, assign it to point 1. What Barney hasn't done here, though, is he hasn't said what will happen off the back of that. So he hasn't said no goal will be scored, blah, blah, blah. So we can't assign him 0.2. Flexibility will allow goalkeepers to stretch their limbs further. Again, I'm happy with that. Very similar to 0.3. So again, I'm going to highlight that and assign it to 0.3. Okay, cool. Right, let's go to question 4. So, question 3, sorry, final question. Explain how 2 different types of guidance could be used during a swimming lesson. Okay, so here we've got manual guidance. So again, that's picked up as 0.5, that's great. Is where the teacher physically supports the student. Yep, okay. And mechanical guidance, okay, so that's 7, is where the student will use certain devices to help them. Now, what we'll notice here is that what Barney hasn't done is he hasn't actually applied it to the example. So I'm not going to be able to assign him 0.6 here because 0.6 is all about relating it to swimming. So placing a hand under the belly of the swimmer, holding arms out for a swimmer, blah, blah, blah. So it's picked up the word physically, but that's not enough on its own. So I'm just going to delete that one. I'm happy with 0.5 though, that he's identified manual guidance. He's identified mechanical guidance. I'm happy with those 2. However, what he's not done there is he's not applied it now to the example of the question. So again, he only picks up 2 marks. Right, let's have a look at Homer's. Okay, so visual guidance, yep, good, 0.1. It can be used when demonstrating arm action from the side of the pool. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do here is, I want to include a lot of that. So I'm going to click on the plus button to include all of that. And I'm happy with that as 0.2. because it's actually applied swimming. Mechanical guidance can be used when a swimmer uses floats to help them swim. Again, it's more applied using floats. It's picked up point 8 as using floats. So I'm actually going to just expand that a little bit to help them swim to that bit. But I'm actually happy with that. So what I can do now is all those 4 points, bob on. I'm just going to click accept all highlighted, and boom, 4 out of 4. Now, what I'm going to do in the next video is talk to you about how to use the feedback feature more. But for now, I'm going to leave this video here. When you've finished marking the exams, you can literally click release exam to student, and it will go to the student, and then they can obviously read the feedback that you've given them. Thank you. Bye.